Hey guys, it's Dani. Today we are going to continue with part 2 of our Rejuvenating the Stressed Orchids, which spent 35 days on transport. We're going to take a look at the Paphiopedilum, the Cattleya, and also the Leptotes. And at the end, I also have a 3-week update for you because it has been 3 or 4 weeks already since I received those orchids. So don't forget to like this video if you end up enjoying it, and why not subscribe? It's free and I post 3 times a week. So let's start with the Paphiopedilum. As I was saying, since the Paphiopedilum has no more medium, I'm just going to have to repot him straight away. And the thing is, this guy will not actually feel the effects of a repotting because its roots were not actually attached to the medium anyway. He will, however, have a little bit of a shock due to the dehydration situation. So with this one, what I would do is just go to the sink, wet the roots a little bit, make them a little bit more flexible. But since I'm here and I have some water next to me, I'm going to just hydrate a little bit these roots just for a few minutes until I find a suitable pot, prepare my medium, all that fun stuff. This is not hydration, this is just me wetting the root system so I make it more flexible and less prone to breakage. So I got a cute little pot here. I will be using my typical sphagnum moss and bark mixture. And before I actually start the repotting, I will go ahead and spray the root system with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, just to make sure there are no surprise snails on the roots. There's nothing worse than snails crashing a repotting party. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a layer of sphagnum moss on the bottom, the typical drill that I do. And ta-da, my orchid is potted. And because I do believe the pot fits in this decorative container, almost, I will keep it here. I will give it a good watering. I would do this at the sink, but again, since we're here and I already have water in my can, I'm gonna do this here. I will thoroughly water this pot, but I will not leave water sit there in such big quantities. The first watering after the repotting is always more abundant because I want the medium to just arrange itself, get properly wet. So now I will not let this orchid sit in this much water. I'm gonna dump it out. But the next waterings will just be normal. And if you don't know how I water my orchids, check the video down below. I will link you to it. And I'll show you how I water 400 plus orchids really fast. Next up, here's the little Leptotes bicolor, which fared the worst. I do believe so, but I also believe she will make a full recovery. These plants are super tough, and look at that. It wasn't actually even in the medium, it was in a sphagnum moss plug. Oh well, what to do. I do still have some good roots, which is okay, but I do need to remove all of these dried and yellowing growths, which are very damaged. I do have new growth, so this one, yeah, very clear to see that it would have fallen anyway. And actually for this orchid, I have the cutest little pot ever, and I do believe I have 2 little plants here, or maybe they're connected. I'm not gonna try to divide it. So I'm gonna wash away this medium at the sink and come back with the new pot. And the little pot that I will be using for this orchid is the cutest pot I have at the moment. Dig this. Ta-da! My little swan pot. Now, you can actually pot orchids in ceramic pots, non-transparent. It's absolutely fine. They don't care. However, you will indeed not see the root system. If you're a beginner, I would recommend you start off with transparent pots. They will help you out. You will learn your orchid a lot better, and then when you have more experience, you can use whatever pot you want, really. Bonus, I have another Leptotes, so even if I want to make an educational video and show the roots, I have the other one in a transparent pot. So on the bottom again, I will place sphagnum moss, and I will make sure that the moss comes out of the drainage hole and acts as a wick. And other than that, it's exactly the same routine that I always use with any type of pot. Oh, it's gonna be so darling. You also have to keep in mind that when you are going to repot this orchid, you will not be able to press on the pot. It's not flexible. Things will be a little bit more complicated. So as long as you're okay with that aspect of a non-plastic pot, then everything is okay. All right, we're done, and I think my swan needs a shower. Are you joking? This is seriously precious, you guys. Oh my goodness, I love this little pot so much. I'm not actually even going to put back the tag because it's just gonna spoil everything. I know what this plant is. Typically, it's not a good idea to throw away tags. Trust me, you will want them back. But yeah, I don't think I'll forget what this one is. So pretty. And when this orchid blooms, it will actually create super huge, well, in comparison to the plant, white flowers with a magenta lip. So I think it's gonna look awesome. And lastly, here we have the Cattleya, which as we can see has a little bit of an infection on this leaf, but it just happens to be the oldest pseudobulb. So you know what? We might actually completely remove it. I don't know if we're gonna do that. I need to unpot the orchid. And oh boy, the tight sphagnum moss ball. Well, good thing I have a trusty pair of tweezers. Tweezers are fantastic whenever your fingers are just a little bit too large and you cannot actually go in there and pinch the sphagnum moss. Cattleyas have pretty large roots, but there are orchids with super fine roots. And in such cases, you will see that a long-nosed tweezers is actually super helpful. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the sphagnum moss as best as I can. It's gonna take a while. I really dislike these types of sphagnum moss balls because they get really tight and they take a lot of time to remove, but hey, that's the orchid life, what to do. Alright, so we're now looking bad, but I did discover that this orchid has a cut pseudobulb right here. And it's actually in front of this pseudobulb, which I was already considering cutting. So you know what? I will remove this stump and also this old pseudobulb because they're just old and they're not really helping my orchid. All they do is take space in the pot and just make me repot the orchid faster. And ta-da! Ooh, I haven't seen such a nice rhizome in a long time. I got too used to fusarium. So again, with this orchid, same technique, same type of medium. I do like to optimize as much as possible wherever I can, the medium, the potting style, and all of that, because it's just easier to water. When you have over 450 orchids, it does make a difference when everybody is potted pretty much in the same way, has pretty much the same type of medium, or maybe different ratios of these ingredients. But when pretty much everybody dries at the same time, oh, it's a good feeling. You can water everybody at the same time. That does not mean that all of my orchids dry at the same time. Oh no, every day I water something because I have to have Draculas and Masdevallias, and then a Stanhopea, which is hanging in a basket, and then the Vandas, which are potted in clay pots, unglazed clay pots. And then we have some terrestrial orchids as well, and I forgot to add the slow release fertilizer. So yes, not all of my orchids dry at the same time, but many of them actually do, and that saves time. I like to add slow release fertilizer because sometimes I just don't feel like preparing fertilized water. Sometimes I have one of those days when my head hurts or something is just not okay. And preparing 8 liters at a time of fertilized water just takes too much time, and I don't have that much time sometimes. So I can rest assured that I can use just plain water, and I do still have something in the pot offering nutrients, particularly to stuff like Cattleyas, which are not light feeders. And they're prone to displaying quite a lot of calcium deficiency, especially when they grow new shoots. And I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Are you a little bit deep in the pot? Or you just have a crooked rhizome? You just have a crooked rhizome. All right, so that is about enough. I will keep this orchid in the greenhouse for now, but if she establishes fast, I'm just gonna put her outside because the kitties love my environment. Well, the warm seasons. They absolutely do not like my winter, but that's a different story. And here are the little plants 3 weeks later. They're all looking so much better. So let me just give you a few close-ups because quite a few things have happened. So first off, the Leptotes, which lost quite a lot of leaves, looks so much better today. And I also have quite a lot of new growth. You can see one here, and I think I also saw one in the back. I also see some roots starting to grow. Oh, here it is. This one is actually more advanced. And I do see that this is mature. It has bloomed before. I don't know if the new growths will bloom. They might still be a little bit stressed, but that's okay. I think it's gonna be perfect. And I really, really enjoyed the display so much. It reminds me of my doves. I know this is a swan, but let me just show you something. Look at this. The resemblance is uncanny. This is Maya, by the way. Aw, you wanna give it a little kiss? Not really, she's interested if it's yummy or edible, one of the two. Maya is going to lay an egg, no honey. Yeah, she's probably going to lay an egg today and she looks miserable, and I bet you she feels miserable. I feel so bad every time they have to lay eggs. And I just wanna cuddle them. They don't want me to cuddle them, but I'm gonna bring you some lettuce and some carrots. I'm gonna give you a treat today, little bird. Oh. I wish I could snuggle with you and make you feel better, but you don't want me to. All right, the Paphiopedilum, he actually looks much better as well, and he grew. You wanna know how I know? You can see the old leaves don't have any gloss to them. They also have some paper residue from the packing. And if you look at the newer leaves, can we see the amount of gloss? I didn't use any treatments, any oils, or anything of the sorts. Both of these growths have grown. Look at these leaves. So this is how I know he's gonna be okay. He doesn't look dehydrated anymore. The oldest leaf dried out, that is okay. I'm pretty sure the roots inside are doing okay and the orchid will be fine, which is great because I love this path. And the Cattleya, really not surprised to tell you that it's doing the best out of all of them. If you remember, we only lost one leaf, and take a look at the new growth. It has grown a lot. It's not going to bloom, I don't see a sheath. These freckles that you see, they're normal with this type of orchid. Usually spotted Cattleyas will have some spots on their leaves as well. It's not a rule though. And also I can see new roots already forming. So it has been two weeks and a half, something of the sorts. And you can see the difference in how much all of these orchids evolved. Cattleyas are a lot hardier and a lot more resilient to heat, dehydration, all of these things. And it shows, bouncing back is faster. So that's about it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. Stay tuned. The next video will probably be the orchids in bloom. We're gonna do it a little earlier because I have a different video planned for Monday. So stay tuned for that. And with that said, I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!